Kendall, I seriously hope that you've been putting a lot of effort and dedication into the wedding preparations, right? I wish you a good evening.
Addison, I have done everything that was possible and necessary for the wedding. There's nothing more to do but wait for the big day to arrive and be happy for the couple.
What kind of absurdity is that? Is that the best answer you can give me? You should be working tirelessly until the very last moment to ensure that the wedding is impeccable and that there is no chance of anything going awry. Have you ever considered what'll happen when I make my grand entrance on stage and steal the spotlight?
Well, this is Charlotte's wedding, right?
That's correct. My daughter's wedding. And if you don't make sure that it's perfect for her and for me, then you're going to face some serious consequences.
That's not the reason why I asked you that. I asked because I'm perplexed why you think that I have to arrange anything for you to come on stage like it's your wedding. I know that Charlotte's dad is going to escort her down the aisle, but you're supposed to remain in your seat the whole time, right?
That's not a valid excuse for me to sit around and do nothing all day. I'm the mother of the bride, and that means I deserve to be treated like a queen at this wedding.
So that's why you want me to prepare for you on stage? Well, I never heard anything from Charlotte about that.
If you don't take this wedding and my role in it more seriously, you'll regret ever tying the knot with my son. Do you want to lose your status as a young wife in this family? Change your attitude right now and get back to work on the wedding. Charlotte and I are too busy to watch over you every minute of the day.
Ugh, fine. Whatever.
Kendall, please accept my sincere apologies. It breaks my heart to see my mom constantly burdening you with such ridiculous and unreasonable requests. I can tell that she has manipulated you into doing her bidding, even when you clearly don't want to. But you don't have to suffer in silence, Kendall. You have every right to stand up to her and say no.
Tyler, I appreciate your concern, but it's not that big of a deal to me. I just don't understand why your mom feels the need to have a spotlight on her at the wedding, when it's supposed to be Charlotte's special day. I'm at a loss for how to handle this situation.
Kendall, you don't have to handle anything. Just ignore what she asks you to do. She's spewing nonsense as usual. And Charlotte has already made it clear to me that she wants to arrange the plans herself for her wedding. So you can disregard my mom's demands completely. Because this wedding is all about what Charlotte wants. I'm sure if you talk to Charlotte and tell her what my mom is trying to pull, she'll put her in her place and end this madness.
Tyler, I did exactly that. I contacted Charlotte and discussed her preferences with her. But even after that, your mom still acts like she's the boss.
Well, we all know that she's a nightmare. And even my dad is losing his patience with her, to be honest. After Charlotte gets married, I fear that my mom and dad's relationship will crumble.
What? What are you saying?
My dad is sick and tired of my mom's selfishness. And from what I've heard, these past few years have been hell for him. So I think that once my sister is married and out of the house, my dad can finally breathe a sigh of relief and start focusing on himself and moving away from my mom. Even I want my dad to escape from my mom's clutches and enjoy his life a bit more.
I had no idea. Well, before any of that can happen, we have to make sure that Charlotte has a wonderful wedding. I'll do everything in my power to make this wedding perfect for her, so that not only Charlotte is happy, but also so that your dad can be happy as well.
I'm on the road right now, but I just pulled over to use the restroom.
Huh? What's wrong?
Things are terrible right now. My dad has collapsed and fallen down hard.
What?
Kendall, you better listen to me and listen good. How could you possibly forget that today is the most important day of my daughter's life? You were supposed to be here at 10 a.m. sharp to help me with the preparations. But you are nowhere to be found. How dare you keep everyone waiting for you like this?
What? Addison, what are you rambling about right now?
Don't play dumb with me, Kendall. You have no idea how angry I am with you for being this late to my daughter's wedding. This This is supposed to be a joyous occasion, and you have a duty to perform.
Wait a minute. Are you seriously clueless about what's going on right now? How can you not know what's happened? Today, the wedding has been called off, as far as I know. But...
What? What did you just say? Do you really think you're a good wife to my son and a good member of this family? Well, you're not. You're nothing but a disgrace, and I'm gonna make sure that you and Tyler get a divorce. Even if it's the last thing I do.
Addison, what are you talking about? Why are you so furious with me over nothing right now?
Nothing? You think this is nothing? You have the nerve to cancel my daughter's wedding without telling anyone. We have all been waiting for more than half an hour for you to show up so that we can start the ceremony.
Addison, I haven't done anything like that. I don't know what you're talking about. Before you get even more worked up, why don't you look around you and tell me what you see?
Ha! I am not gonna let you off the hook that easily, Kendall. You have ruined Charlotte's wedding by not being here.
Wait. Please tell me that you're joking. Please tell me that you actually know what's going on right now. I thought that Tyler already called you and told you what had happened and why the wedding has been canceled.
Why do you keep saying that the wedding has been canceled? The only thing that's been canceled is you. You failed to show up today and you didn't bother to inform anyone. You are the worst woman this family could ever have. If you don't want me to make your life miserable, you better get your butt over here right now.
Addison, everyone is here with me at the funeral home?
What?
Well, I think you're the one who needs to get your butt over here right now, if you don't want to lose your family completely. It seems to me that you either didn't read or listen to anything Tyler sent you yesterday, or you never got his message at all. But you have no idea what you're doing right now by not being here.
Funeral home? Ugh. Why are you all there? Did you all get lost or something and end up there by mistake?
No, Addison. The reason we're all here is because your husband passed away.
What?
Honestly, how could you possibly be unaware of your husband's collapse and death yesterday? You should have been bombarded with calls from the family in the hospital, updating you on your husband's critical condition.
Well, why on earth would I waste my time answering calls from unknown numbers? There's no chance that he's gone right now. You're just trying to fool me with some immature prank, aren't you? My husband is dead? That's impossible. There's no way in hell that my husband is dead right now.
It's the truth. The doctors have confirmed that he suffered a massive heart attack that made him lose consciousness. It's been common knowledge for a long time that he had a frail heart. So it's not surprising that all the stress lately would trigger this.
So, all those calls yesterday from Tyler were about my husband's heart attack. He'd called me earlier to warn me about my rude behavior towards you and everything, so I just assumed he was calling me to nag me about that nonsense again. That's why I silenced his calls for the rest of the day yesterday. So, my husband, he's really...
Addison, I can only imagine the shock and horror you must be feeling right now after learning the truth. But as for the wedding, it has been canceled, and there will be no guests arriving for it. So I didn't bail on the wedding today like you think I did. And I would never do something so disrespectful, especially since you forced me to do all the work for the wedding without consulting me first.
So, the wedding is...
Addison, after what happened to your husband yesterday, we had the whole family rush to the hospital to be with him. But where were you yesterday evening, Addison? While everyone was by your husband's side? In the hospital?
Huh? Me? I was just extremely busy taking care of some last-minute details before the wedding.
Last-minute details, huh? What kind of last-minute details are we talking about here?
Hey, I had a lot of beauty treatments that I had to go to look fabulous for the wedding. It wouldn't be fair if the bride's mother looked like a disaster on the wedding day, right?
So you were out pampering yourself for things that only mattered to you, even going as far as to ignore your son's calls? And you took your sweet time to make yourself look good? And that's why you were out until late last night without anyone knowing your whereabouts. And when anyone in the family tried to reach you, you sent them straight to voicemail.
I didn't get any calls last night.
But you just admitted that you avoided all of Tyler's calls and even muted him when you got annoyed by the ringing, right? I'm sure there were plenty of calls from the hospital as well.
And I told you just a moment ago why I didn't pick up. I thought that those were all just spam calls and that it wasn't worth my attention.
What about all the calls that came from the rest of your family? Oh, that's right. The rest of your family doesn't care to talk to you anymore and would rather just leave you in the dark about everything.
Ugh! How dare you!
Addison, don't you realize that Tyler tried to reach you countless times yesterday, but you deliberately chose to ignore his calls and silence him? And you've even confessed to me that you did all that just now yourself.
So, what is the situation with my husband right now? Is he gonna survive?
Huh? Have you been deaf to everything I've said to you today? I told you already that the family and I are all gathered at the funeral home. Do you not comprehend how all of us being here right now relates to your husband having a fatal heart attack?
So, if you're all really at a funeral home right now, then he must really be dead. That can't be true, right? Right before our daughter's big day?
Addison, are you finally waking up to reality and feeling some emotion from it? I'm telling you, Addison, your husband is no more. And it all happened to him yesterday. And this was all unfolding to him last night while you were out enjoying yourself with his money, getting all the most lavish treatments.
What the hell is this? I had no clue about what was happening to him. Why did he choose yesterday of all days to go and die like that?
Choose? I don't think your husband had any say in when he would pass away, Addison. If anything, he would have wanted to avoid dying the day before his daughter's wedding. I know it must be awful to have all your family despise you, to the point where they don't even bother to inform you about what's going on. But at least Tyler was trying to let you know.
I know that he was trying to call me a lot, but I didn't think he had anything significant to tell me. And that's why I dismissed him. You can't pin any of this on me, right? It's not my fault. Why didn't you all make more effort to get in touch with me when this was happening? You guys could have been sending me texts as well that I could have read later, right?
Tyler told me that he sent you a text. He sent you a message explaining that things were looking grim for his dad and that it was a crisis.
You're right. He did send me a text saying that.
Well then, you're the only one who can be held responsible for not knowing about what happened to your husband yesterday. Today, we are planning to have the wake for your husband. And right now, we are all working on getting the funeral organized and ready for him.
This is all hitting me so fast that I can't process it.
I'm sure it is. But this is the harsh reality that you have to live in, Addison.
Then what's going to happen to my daughter's wedding?
What?
I've been anticipating that wedding for a very long time now. And I was so prepared for it to happen today. What the hell are we gonna do about it? I'm sure that even Charlotte has been longing for this day to come, right?
Addison, what the actual hell are you ranting about now? Are you even aware that your husband is dead right now and will never return to see any of us again?
I get that he's gone, but I'm talking about the wedding now, which has nothing to do with him dying and that funeral.
Well, Charlotte has spent a lot of time discussing the wedding with her husband, and they have decided to postpone their wedding to a different date.
What? Oh, that's nonsense, right? They're going to delay the wedding?
Addison, I can understand why someone like you would have a difficult time even grasping this. But how did you end up this way? You should know that because of her father's tragic death only yesterday, she wouldn't want to have a wedding right now. Ugh, it's been months now that you've been acting so self-centered about this whole wedding, which isn't even yours. The number of times you've tried to make it all about you is a good reason for your family to continue despising you and never wanting to be involved in your life.
What are you trying to imply, Kendall?
I know that all you care about is yourself and about how to make yourself look even more attractive, never taking a moment out of your life to think about your family and what they want. Do you remember how you made sure you were at the center of attention at my wedding when it happened?
It was only natural that I was at the center of attention because I'm a very beautiful woman.
And I do admit that at your age, you are a very beautiful woman. But you showed up to my wedding in an all-white dress like that. Nobody instructed you to wear a white dress that day. And as the bride, I told you explicitly not to wear a white dress. But you did it anyway. And that's what made you steal the spotlight from my husband and me. Right?
And this time, I made sure to get myself an even more stunning white dress for Charlotte's wedding. But now it's all been a waste of time. I rented this exquisite-looking dress just for today, and I have to have it returned to the store by tomorrow afternoon. Wait. I can wear it to my husband's funeral today! He was my husband after all, right? I have to be the one to stand out in an event like that, right?
Did you suffer a lot of head injuries as a baby, Addison?
What did you just say to me? You are my son's wife, so you should never be talking to me like that. Do you want me to make sure that you never get to call my son your husband ever again?
You are the only one who has been divorced, you filthy whore.
What?
Did you have any idea that right before your husband had that fatal heart attack and passed away, he sent in the divorce papers asking that you be removed as his wife? He had reached his limit with the way you acted like a self-centered brat around everyone. And his plan was that after the wedding was over, he would pack up his belongings and leave the house for good. He made sure to write down everything he felt in a letter addressed to you as well.
You're making this up, right? He had us divorced without informing me? Can he really do something like that to us without getting my consent as well?
The divorce papers that he turned in were something that you had already prepared and filled in, right? So all I had to do was sign his name on them and take them to the city office to be processed.
But I wasn't planning on finalizing any of that just yet. Kendall, what the hell was he thinking? Handing them all in without letting me know first.
Well, you were trying to make your daughter's wedding all about yourself, even though she told you time and time again to stop. And on top of that, he also knew about how you would threaten me with divorcing me from Tyler if I didn't do as you asked. So, I think he was just tired of being married to a whore that kept on making everything about herself and never giving any thought towards the family. I myself understand why he would divorce you. Heck, I respect that man for making it this long with you, after all the crap you've pulled.
Why are you being such a rude witch right now?
Well, it doesn't matter anymore now, because he is no longer with us. The husband that looked after you and made sure to take the responsibility for all your selfish behavior is no longer here to help you. He died while you were doing what you always do, and that was thinking about only yourself and no one else. How about you think about how sad that is and start crying? A little over what's happened to him.
I am sad about what's happened. The wedding that was supposed to be today has been canceled and moved to a later date.
For Christ's sake, you are such a joke, Addison.
Well, then so be it. I'm gonna start heading over to you guys right now. I'll at least be able to put myself on display at that funeral for everyone to see. Go and tell everyone that I'll be arriving at the funeral home very soon, okay? I have to make sure that everyone knows that losing my husband has taken a great toll on me now.
Right now, Tyler is talking with everyone else in the family.
About what?
He's telling them that his dad had already divorced you before he passed away. And at the moment, they are all agreeing that you are nothing more than a complete stranger now and don't have to come to the funeral.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It seems that both Tyler and Charlotte do not want you here, getting in the way of their last day being around their father.
What the hell? I'm his wife, though.
No, you are not, Addison. You have been divorced by him now, and that makes you nothing more than a stranger to everyone here. And even when you were his wife, everyone here hated you.
Why, though? Why would they all hate me to the point that they don't want me there?
To put it straight, you were a terrible wife to him, and an even worse mother to your kids. I'm sorry, Addison, but I don't think you and I will ever be seeing one another again after this. So, I'll be going now.
Wait! Don't throw me away like my husband did. Kendall, please tell me where that funeral home is.
Why the hell would I have a reason to tell you? All I want for you is to regret everything you've done to this family and nothing more. Goodbye now, Addison. And I hope you have a good rest of your life alone. Addison had to face the harsh consequences of her selfish and rude behavior. She was never allowed to attend the funeral of her ex-husband, who had secretly divorced her before he died of a heart attack. She had to live the rest of her life with the regret of not ever having the chance to see him for the last time and apologize for her actions. And after the funeral had finished, Kendall, Tyler, and Charlotte, who had all grown to despise her, decided to cut off all ties with her. They agreed to let her live in the house she was living in, but they made it clear that she'd never get to see or hear from them all again. They wanted nothing to do with her. When she was finally left alone with nothing more than an empty house, she began to realize that what she'd been doing really was childish and not acceptable for a woman her age. She had alienated her family and ruined her daughter's wedding with her antics. But her being regretful of her poor attitude has come far too late now, right? She had lost everything that mattered to her, and she had no one to blame but herself.